Vice President Kamala Harris gave remarks about the midterm elections at a DNC event on Thursday. The Vice President celebrated the fact that a number of election deniers were defeated, saying, quote, "Our democracy is intact." The Vice President also celebrated the victory for abortion rights supporters in 5 state ballot measures. Harris thanked people for participating in our democracy.
Thank you all. Thank you. Good afternoon. You know. Well, this is why we're here today, because of this energy, this commitment, this passion, this love of our country and our willingness to fight for it. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. The people in this room worked so hard in this election, staffing the polls, answering people's calls, answering voter protection calls, driving people to the vote. And among the captains of the team, my husband, the second gentleman, Doug Emhoff, our phenomenal First Lady, Dr. Jill Biden, and our one and only President, Joe Biden. You did it, Joe. Couldn't help myself. So, as we gather here, votes are still being counted, but it is clear your work sent a message to the entire world. Our democracy is intact. Yeah. And when democracy is intact, this is what it looks like. And here's the thing, some Democrats won and some Republicans won. That is what happens when more than 100 million Americans participate and vote in free and fair and open elections. That's what happens. And that included young people, seniors, parents with children in tow, working people, who all made their voices heard. And the people in this room and around our country made that possible by standing up for basic American values: freedom, liberty, and the rule of law. And I believe when you know what you stand for, you know what to fight for. This year, like so many of you, I traveled across our country. We convened students and faith leaders, organizing and advocating to protect the sacred right to vote. We convened candidates and elected officials defending the right to retire with dignity, by defending Social Security and Medicare. And of course, everywhere I went, we brought together people fighting for reproductive freedom, people everywhere, from every background. Because here's the thing, one does not have to abandon their faith or deeply held beliefs to agree. The government should not be telling a woman what to do with her body. Voters across our country knew what they stood for, so they knew what to fight for. They protected and they protected and they protected reproductive rights in Vermont, in Michigan, in California, and in Kentucky. So to everyone who made that possible, thank you. Thank you for working the long hours and the late nights, for protecting voting rights on behalf of every American in every community, in every political party. And to the millions of Americans who waited in line, who mailed in your ballot, who rejected big lies and extremism and participated in our democracy, thank you. You knew what you stood for, so you knew what to fight for. You fought for rights and freedoms that will make our country more fair, more safe, and stronger. And you were not fighting alone. From day one, our president has fought on behalf of all Americans and our democracy. Joe Biden understands the dual nature of democracy, its fragility and its strength. He's been talking about it since day one. The strengths of democracy that lie in principles about treating people equally and electing people fairly, to lift up instead of to beat folks down. And this president understands. Democracy is only as strong as our willingness to fight for it. And no one fights harder for our democracy than the people in this room and this president. He knows what we saw again this week. When we fight, we win.